All right, let's dive into a really powerful lecture from the late, great Dr. Wayne Dyer. It's one that completely flips the script on our search for purpose. See, he argues that most of us have been looking for what it means to live an inspired life in all the wrong places. And this one little shift in perspective, well, it could change absolutely everything. So let me start with a question. You know how we spend so much of our lives searching for our purpose, right? Our big calling. But what if it's not something you have to go out and find? What if it's already inside of you, just waiting for you to remember it? That one single idea is at the very heart of everything we're going to talk about today. So to get there, we first have to take a word we use all the time and really look at it again. The word is inspiration. Dr. Dyer says the way we usually use it, well, it barely scratches the surface of its true, incredibly deep meaning. The clue is right there in the word itself. Inspiration literally comes from being in spirit. So this isn't about just having a random good idea pop into your head. No, it's about a whole state of being, a conscious, deliberate connection to the very source that we all came from. You know, the writer Aldous Huxley absolutely nailed this. He said our real purpose in life isn't a specific job or a role we play, but the unitive knowledge of God. That feeling of being one with our source. And that, Dr. Dyer says, is the real destination. Now, this whole idea gets way clearer when you put inspiration up against a word we're all very familiar with, motivation. They might sound kind of similar, but Dr. Dyer is clear. They come from two totally different places. One comes from the ego, and the other comes from spirit. Okay, so check this out. Motivation, that's pure ego. It's that gritty, forceful feeling of, I am going to make this happen no matter what. And man, it takes a ton of effort. Inspiration, though, is the complete opposite. It's about surrender. It's spirit-led. An idea takes hold of you. You're not forcing it. You're allowing it to flow through you. And when it happens, it feels effortless. Think about this incredible story from the legendary playwright Arthur Miller. To me, this is the perfect definition of a life lived by inspiration. He doesn't know for sure if he's working on something, because he isn't the one trying to force it. He's just open. He's allowing that creative energy to work through him, trusting that if a play is meant to be written, it'll show up. Okay, so this all sounds amazing, right? Being in spirit, letting ideas flow. But how do we actually do that? How do we cultivate this state? Well, Dr. Dyer offers a surprisingly simple, practical path. And it all starts with something that a lot of us already experience. He used to ask this question to his live audiences, and he said almost without fail, nearly every hand in the room would go up. So many of us wake up in the dead of night, often around the same time, and what do? We just roll over and try to go back to sleep. But what if it's not random? What if you're actually being called to something in that moment? This brings to mind this just beautiful quote from the 13th century poet Rumi. And you know, this feels like more than just poetry. It feels like an instruction manual. That moment, when you wake up in the early morning quiet, it's like a sacred appointment. Your source has secrets it wants to share. But why that specific time? What's so special about 3 or 4 a.m.? It's because the world is at its most silent. There are no phones ringing, no emails pouring in, no conflict, no noise. And as the book A Course in Miracles says, the memory of God comes to the quiet mind. It's only in that profound stillness that we can finally hear. And the practice for this is incredibly simple. When you wake up, don't fight it. Don't get frustrated and try to force yourself back to sleep. Just do one thing. Put your feet on the floor, get up. And then, just listen. Be open. Allow whatever ideas, whatever feelings, whatever creativity wants to come through you to just arrive. So this daily practice of listening, it connects us to a really fundamental truth about our own nature. And Dr. Dyer explains this with a brilliant and super simple analogy. He calls it the pie analogy. I mean, think about it. It's so logical. If you take a slice from an apple pie, what is that slice? It's apple pie. If a doctor takes a small vial of your blood, it tells them everything they need to know about all the blood in your body. A piece of something has to be fundamentally like the source from which it came. It just has to be. So, here it is. Here's the stunning conclusion to that thought. If we all came from a single source, a source that is by its very nature unlimited, infinitely creative, abundant, and peaceful, then we as little pieces of that source must be those things too. Those qualities aren't just something to hope for. They are our basic, inherent nature. Now, when you start to really get this, when you start to live this, it leads to the ultimate realization. It's a shift in consciousness that changes not just how you see yourself, but how you see every single thing in the world. And it's all captured in this one beautiful final story. So the story goes that there was this deeply devoted man who prayed every single day, and he begged God, please come and have a special lunch with me, just you and me. And finally, God appeared to him and said, okay, I will come. I'll be there at noon on Friday. Well, the man was just over the moon. He invited all his friends. He prepared this magnificent feast. He went all out. So noon on Friday arrives. The table is set. Everything is perfect. But God is nowhere to be seen. Instead, this big, hungry-looking black dog wanders in, jumps up on the dining table, and just starts devouring the beautiful meal. The man was absolutely furious. He's thinking, this is why God didn't show up. This filthy animal has ruined everything. So he grabs a club and he beats the poor dog and chases it away as it's crying. So feeling completely dejected, the man starts to pray again. And then God appears right in front of him. But his body is covered in wounds and bruises and bandages. My God, the man cries out, what on earth happened to you? And God replies, it was no accident. It was you. I came punctually, right at noon, and I started eating. And then you came out and you beat me. I came as a dog. In that, right there is the profound final message. This is what it means to live an inspired life. It's the deep, gut-level realization that our divine source isn't separate from us. It isn't out there somewhere. It is in everything, and it is in everyone. If you can't see God in the dog, in the stranger, in the challenge, then you can't really see him anywhere at all. And that is a thought worth remembering.